The absolute very last trap. I've got a terrible, gross looking windshield, but that, my friends, let's see if you can, is a coyote. Man, I was so aggravated and about ready to pull. I didn't set but 4 sets in here. Caught a possum yesterday, and the very last trap. Hadn't had anything all day, and it's a very light colored coyote. Let me get her this. Talk to me, girl. Not the prettiest coyote by any means. It's real, I don't know, light blonde colored. But an audience, y'all are welcome. One thing I was going to say though, I talked about this in my podcast the other day. I set this farm last year and didn't catch a single coyote. I caught some beaver, some coons, and so it wasn't a wasted effort. But I came in here this year and I just set 4 traps, and I was hemming and hawing, wasn't really excited, debating on whether I even wanted to set it or not. Cows in here and the headache that they are. Man, I was looking around and I didn't set, like I said, I didn't set this area at all. But coming through, and I looked, and we've got a little bit of rain, but that was a coyote track, and pretty fresh. And so I said, you know, outside of, you know, last year I didn't set on any sign here. There was none to be found, and I didn't come and look around like here. I was just sitting on location. And so that's one thing that I've tried to do a little bit less of this year, is still sitting on location, but also looking specifically for sign and trying to see, you know, it's taking more time to walk some creek bottoms and drains and things like that, but you know, it's paying off, hopefully, in being more effective in catching coyotes and not just assuming where they're going and how they're traveling, but hopefully actually learning more about them and how they're traveling, what they're doing. And like I said, it's taking a little more time, a little more scouting, a little more walking, but I think it's helping to make me a better trapper. So anyway, we got a coyote in the truck, and that's always a good thing. I'm going to show you my setup real quick here. I've just got a 3-way intersection in a young pine plantation, and I'm going to do something a little different. It's a set that I kind of messed with a little bit last year. Kind of like a cat toilet set, I guess. So I've got a couple of pieces of scat here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put me a trap right here in the middle. Boom. With these, I wish I had a little bit of fresh scat, and I don't. But I'll shoot a little urine on them. Probably put maybe a punch hole or something. I mean, it's going to be very basic. Not a whole lot going on, but I had good luck last year doing it, so just trying to think and try some new things. So I'll walk you through how I make that set. All right, first off, I'm gonna dig my trap bed out, and I'm not really, let's see, I guess I was gonna say I'm not really necessarily orienting it in any specific direction, but I think I am going to go, if I'm going to keep those kind of on both sides, I'm going to have the trap run a long way this way. Red clay beat out here, and I've been doing a lot of grass covering, and that was my tendency. Probably the other set I set here, I will use that, but I'll show you. I mean, we had a little bit of rain yesterday. There's a little bit of moisture in the ground, and it got pretty cold last night, down in the 20s. Supposed to be in the 20s for the next couple nights. So I'll show you how I use peat moss to try to help keep my traps working from freezing down. Drive my wolf fang in. Running, got my expander pan on here. Alright, got that baby set. Put her in the bed. Man, that's almost perfect. A little bit of wiggle. Work on getting my trap where it fits solid in there. Now, what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of peat moss, a handful of peat moss, and throw it in the bed of the trap, just to kind of give me a barrier between the dirt and the trap itself. I'm going to put the trap back in there. That's feeling pretty good. Just try to tamp around the edge. Trying to get that locked in. Then I can do a little peat moss over the top, sift my dirt over top. I give him plenty of dirt. Oh man, try not to get caught here. I like to find my pan, and usually I like to kind of mash around just to make sure everything's bedded solid, and I can do that a little bit. I'm a little hesitant about getting too crazy with these expander pans, but I think that's gonna pretty well have it. So I mean, that should stay. I mean, it's not that cold, it's not that wet, but that should stay working very, very active, very fine. I'm gonna take this scat here. I'm gonna move it in a little bit. I'll probably put a little cat gland here, and maybe some cat urine here, and maybe do me a little punch hole somewhere. Maybe offset to just put something there. Just have a little something extra for something to coyote, cat, whatever it is, to come by and poke his head into if I wanted to. And this is the neat thing, where if you were really targeting just cats, I mean, you could take you a couple sticks and put one right here and right here. You could leave the pan exposed to where, you know, a cat's not gonna worry about stepping on that exposed pan, but a coyote would avoid that. But I want to catch either one if they come by, so we'll let that rock and see how she does. Pulling out all the stops for the cats. Got me a little silver vine going over there too. We'll see how it works. I got to get my trail camera out here.